I wasn't supposed to stop that day. It was raining. The kind of slow, gray drizzle that makes everything feel off. I had 10 minutes to kill, so I pulled into a random thrift store I'd never seen before. No sign, no name, just a flickering light in the window. And that's where everything started. I wasn't looking for anything. I walked past old lamps, chipped plates, boxes of things nobody wanted anymore. Then I saw it, a picture frame. Small, wooden, scratched at the corners like it had been moved too many times. Something about it felt deliberate. I picked it up, and I froze. Because staring back at me was me. Not someone who looks like me. Not kind of similar. No, it was a childhood photo I knew. Same striped shirt. Same awkward smile. Same tiny scar above my eyebrow from when I fell off my bike at age 7. There is no way to mistake that. My heart started pounding. My first thought? Someone was messing with me. A prank. It had to be. But here's the problem. I had never been to that store before. And that photo? It was never digital. Never shared online. It existed in exactly one place. An old album my mother kept locked in a drawer. So how did it end up here? I turned the frame over, expecting answers. What I found instead made things worse. Because taped to the back was a faded label with a name I had never heard before. And an address. An address that, at the time, meant nothing to me. But it was about to. Because when I looked it up later that night, I realized this wasn't random. Not even close. I should have put the frame back. Walked out. Forgotten it. Pretended none of this ever happened. But you already know. I didn't. I bought it. Didn't even check the price. Just grabbed it and walked straight to the counter like if I hesitated, even for a second, it might disappear. The cashier barely looked at me. Didn't ask questions. Just rang it up like this was normal. Like people find their own childhood photos in random frames all the time. That should have been my first warning. The moment I got in my car, I flipped the frame over again. That label, it wasn't just old. It looked intentional. Like it had been placed there recently, but designed to look decades aged. The name read, E. Vance. No first name. Just an initial. Underneath it, the address. I pulled out my phone and typed it in. And that's when my stomach dropped. Because the address wasn't across the country. It wasn't even out of state. It was 14 minutes from where I was sitting. 14. I stared at the screen, refreshing it like the distance might change. It didn't. Now here's where it gets strange. I don't recognize the name. Not from family. Not from school. Not from anywhere in my life. But the house? When I switched to Street View, something hit me. Hard. It looked familiar. Not in a I've seen this before kind of way. More like, I shouldn't know this place, but somehow I do. Same porch layout. Same crooked mailbox. Even the tree out front felt specific. Like a memory just out of reach. I sat there longer than I want to admit, just staring at that house on my screen. Then I noticed something that made my chest tighten. Because zoomed in, barely visible in the front window, was a shape. A picture frame. And I swear, it looked exactly like the one sitting in my lap. And that's when I realized. This wasn't something I found. This was something that found me. I didn't go home. I know. That would have been the smart move. But curiosity doesn't work like that. It doesn't let go, it tightens. 14 minutes turned into 12. Then 9. I was already driving. The frame sat on the passenger seat, angled toward me like it wanted to be seen. Every time I glanced at it, my chest tightened. Not fear exactly, something heavier. Like recognition. Or warning. The GPS cut in. You have arrived. I slowed down. And there it was. The house. Same as the screen, but worse in real life. Paint peeling. Porch slightly tilted. That tree in the yard. Not just familiar. Personal. Like I had stood under it before. I parked across the street, engine still running. No lights. No movement. But the front door? It wasn't closed. It was slightly open. Just enough to feel wrong. I should have left. Seriously. That was the moment to turn around. But I looked down at the frame again. At my own face. And something in me decided. I stepped out. Each step toward the house felt louder than it should. Gravel crunching. Air too still. Like the place was aware. I reached the door. Hesitated. Then pushed it open. It creaked slowly. Inside was dim. Dust floating in the air. But it wasn't empty. Not even close. The walls were covered. Picture frames. Everywhere. Different sizes. Different styles. All facing inward. Like they weren't decoration. Like they were watching. Waiting. I took one step inside. Then another. And the door shut behind me. By itself. I froze. Because right then, I noticed something. One frame, larger than the rest, dead center on the far wall. Different, important, and even from across the room, I knew. That one wasn't random. That one was mine. I didn't want to get closer, but I did. Slow steps. Careful, like the floor might react if I moved too fast. Every frame on those walls felt intentional, not random photos, placements, patterns, like someone had mapped something out. And then I saw the faces. Not strangers. Kids. Families. Birthdays. School pictures. Normal moments. Except, every single one felt off. Because the more I looked, the more I realized something wasn't right. Some of the faces? They repeated. Same kid. Different ages. Different frames. Tracked. Documented. Collected. My chest tightened. This wasn't decoration. This was a record. And then I noticed something worse. Some frames were empty. Not broken. Not missing photos. Just blank. Placed perfectly between the others. Like placeholders. Waiting. I turned back toward the center frame. The big one. The one I knew was mine. Each step closer made the air feel heavier. Thicker. Like walking into water. Then I saw it clearly. And my stomach dropped. It wasn't the same photo I found in the thrift store. It was another one. Me. Older this time. Maybe 9, 10. Standing outside. Smiling. In front of a house. This house. I froze. Because I don't remember ever being here. Not once. Not ever. But there I was. Clear as day. Standing right where I was now. Same angle. Same porch behind me. Same crooked mailbox. That's not possible. It can't be. I stepped closer, trying to see details. Trying to find something, anything, that would explain it. And that's when I noticed something in the glass. Not the photo. The reflection. Behind me. At the doorway I just walked through. There was someone standing there. Watching me. And I know what you're thinking. I turned around. Fast. But the doorway? Empty. No one there. Nothing. Just silence. I slowly turned back to the frame. Heart racing. And that's when I saw it. The photo had changed. Because now, I wasn't alone in it anymore. I didn't move. I couldn't. Because in that photo, standing right behind me, was someone else. Tall. Slightly blurred. Like the camera hadn't fully caught them. But they were there. And the worst part? They were looking straight at me. Not the camera. Me. Right now. My chest tightened so hard it felt like I couldn't breathe. I stepped back, shaking my head, trying to convince myself this was some kind of trick. A reflection. Lighting. Anything. But no. The figure didn't move. Didn't flicker. Didn't disappear. It stayed. Watching. I spun around again, nothing behind me. Just that empty doorway. Silent. Still. So whatever that was, it wasn't in the room. At least, not the way I understood it. I turned back to the wall, scanning the other frames. And that's when it got worse. Because now that I knew what to look for, I saw it everywhere. That same figure. In different photos. Different angles. Different people. Always in the background. Always slightly out of focus. Always watching. Like it had been there the entire time. Hidden in plain sight. This wasn't about me. Not just me. This was a pattern. A system. A collection. My pulse was pounding in my ears as I backed toward the door. I needed to get out. Now. But then, I heard something. A sound that didn't belong in an empty house. A soft click. From somewhere deeper inside. I froze. Another click. Closer this time. Then a slow, dragging sound across the floor. Like something was moving. Deliberate. Unrushed. And headed in my direction. I turned toward the hallway. Dark. Narrow. And at the very end, there was a door. Slightly open. Moving. Just enough to show someone. Or something. Was behind it. Waiting. And then, it stopped. Dead still. Like it knew I was watching. And in that moment, I realized something that made everything worse. This house wasn't abandoned. It never was. And whatever was inside, it already knew I was here. Every instinct said run. But fear doesn't always push you away. Sometimes it locks you in place. That hallway felt like it was pulling me in. The door at the end? Still. Slightly open. Waiting. I should have left. That was the moment. But one thought hit me. If I walk out now, I'll never understand how my photo got here. So I moved. Slow steps. Careful. The air got heavier the closer I got, like walking into something thick, something aware. That's what made it worse. It wasn't stopping me. It was letting me come. I reached the door. Pushed it open. Inside, nothing but a table. And on it, stacks of photographs. Neat. Organized. Labeled. My stomach dropped. These weren't random. They were timelines. Same person. Different ages. Progression. Tracked. Collected. I flipped one stack. Hit at 6. Then 8. Then 10. Then nothing. It just stopped. Like someone decided that was the end. I checked another. Same pattern. Always ending abruptly. No explanation. Then I saw it. A stack with my name. Right on top. My hands started shaking. First photo. The one from the thrift store. Next. The one from the wall. I flipped again. And froze. Because this one wasn't from my past. It was from today. Me. Standing in this house. Facing the wall. Taken from behind. Which means someone took it. Recently. Very recently. I slowly turned around. Nothing there. Empty room. Silent. Then, that sound again. Dragging. Right behind me. Closer than before. And this time, it didn't stop. I didn't turn around. Not immediately. Because something in me knew. The second I did, everything would change. The dragging sound got closer. Slow. Heavy. Intentional. Right behind me now. I could feel it. Not touch. Not breath. Just presence. Like standing too close to the edge of something you can't see. Then, a voice. Low. Calm. Right next to my ear. You weren't supposed to find it this early. I spun around. Nothing. Empty. But the air felt different. Charged. Like I wasn't alone anymore. I just couldn't see who was there. My heart was pounding as I backed toward the table, eyes scanning, trying to catch movement. Then I looked down. At the photos. And my stomach dropped. Because there was one more added. I didn't put it there. I didn't hear it happen. But it was there. On top of my stack. I picked it up. Hands shaking. And this one? It wasn't from earlier. It wasn't from behind me. It was from in front of me. My face. Close. Eyes wide. Looking straight ahead. At something. Or someone. And in the reflection of my eyes. You could see it. Clearer than before. That same figure. But not blurred this time. Detailed. Defined. Smiling. Right behind the camera. Right where I was standing seconds ago. I dropped the photo. Backed away. And that's when the voice came again. Calmer this time. Closer. You're in the system now. The lights flickered. Once. Twice. Then everything went dark. I don't remember how I got out. I don't remember driving home. But the next morning, the frame was gone. Completely gone. Like it was never there. I checked the receipt. Blank. No record. Nothing. But here's the part one can't explain. Last night, I got a package. No return address. Inside, a single photo. No note. No label. Just me. Right now, holding that photo. Which means, this isn't over. And if you're watching this, really watching, go back. Pause. Look closely. Because if this works the way I think it does, you might already be in one of them.